What's good, YouTube? And welcome to a Yu-Gi-Oh card name that could easily be an anime isekai title. Made to order mermaid outfit outfitter in another world, right? But seriously, this comment is starting to go up in price, and it's one I'd glossed over, and I love reading cards like this because back in my vendor days, I would set anything aside that could potentially be good in the game to make money on it later, but I was also lucky to have the ability not to sell off my bulk to put back into it at that point in my career. Target one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, then you can add one card from your deck to your hand with the same name as the banished card. You can only activate one made to order mermaid outfit outfitter per turn. So this card is really good in mirror matches, but also against decks that like to leave things in the graveyard, aka Fire Kings, a structure deck that tons of people have access to, and will still be trying to play rogue versions even if they're not playing the super expensive version. And then if you're playing the mirror, this can give you a leg up. It's also good against other decks like Rescue Ace that again like to have things in the graveyard depending, and I feel like this, even though we're talking about a diverse format, can find a lot of ways to either get staples or find use, but I feel like it's mostly a side deck card in my opinion. You're pretty brave to be playing it in the main deck, and there's tons of other cards that will banish cards out of the graveyard as well. I immediately thought of Lullaby of Obedience reading this, and it seems like other people might have, or it's going up for other reasons. Let me know. It does only have two printings that are both pretty hard to get at this point. You have the Duelist Pack Rivals of the Pharaoh, and that's ancient and old, and this was expensive from that till you also have the Legendary Collection Kaiba Secret Rare, which is an upgrade. There were unlimited waves of a $30 MSRP set that has really dried up at this point. So it's not all that expensive for what it is, but it is notable. Both of them are going up. Maybe people had similar thoughts of, ooh, good, the mirror match card. Remember, the rules did nerf this, so you don't get to verify and look through the opponent's deck and see what they sided in or what might be in their hand or anything, because you pay 2,000 life points, which also against time rules has gotten worse over time, and declare one monster card name. Your opponent looks at their deck, reveals one of the declared monsters if there are any, and applies one of these effects. You add it to the hand of the player who activated this card, or the player who activated this card gets to special summon it to their field in attack position, ignoring summoning conditions. Again, mirror match cards going up is interesting during a super diverse format. Maybe people expecting something, but I do think that this is the better card right now. Being able to take care of a graveyard resource while get yourself a resource, that sounds like more win-win and very easy access still at this point. You still have it almost bulk prices, but it is notable a lot of them are selling above that, so people can just get access, and people are buying into multiples as well. Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. I said that I felt like this would be one of the first $40 ultra rares in a long time, and I was confused why it was going down on week one, like $12, and then it shot back up to $18 after I made that observation. Thanks, market man bad. But then it fell back out after that and then did the slow, steady climb that it's been doing. Be aware this is up even another $5, and it's 3/4 of the way there, around 30. Sometimes you just see a card and you're like, yeah, that's way too cheap. You can be player brain and completely wrong, just thinking, oh, all these applications, and it not pan out, but sometimes it does, and you're right for the right reasons, which is rare. I talk about being right for the wrong reasons all the time. But another one where I'm right for probably the right reasons is Bonfire. People have seen it's not short printed, which had never happened in the ultra rares and these collector rare sets. Yes, short prints never went. People were really taking issue with my last title when it's about short prints being back in the ultra / super section, and apparently Hydrant is also seeming pretty short within this set, so be aware of that, especially if you did pre-sales. But multiple short prints within this set do exist. Also, the amount of ultra rares do seem confirmed to be up about 4 per box. Some people are saying the collector rare does replace, doesn't replace. I'll have to wait to see mass case ratios on that. But yeah, Bonfire back under triple digits and will probably continue to fall. We'll have to wait to see where it is. It'll probably still be above my initial projections. I'm thinking 72, 75 day one, and then we'll see if it gets FOMO bot or how it actually goes from there. But yeah, right now people are selling them, and then triple tactic thrust is short, which is a pretty bad situation for a star reprint. The pot collection has some interesting movement, while the, quarter century secret rare special pot of greed continues to kind of go down slowly and have competition. Other ones are getting bought out, like pot of duality and pot of avarice. I'm especially interested in pot of avarice because of the applications in past formats, but do recall that parallel rares can be a bit thicker, so I highly suggest, if you are playing these main deck, to end up double sleeving and make sure they're not discernible. Even if Konami's responsible for the cards being printed for being identifiable in the deck, if you are playing cards identifiable in a deck, Konami can penalize you, ranging from, hey, you need to replace this, to disqualification from an entire tournament, which has been huge drama in the past among many pro players. The 25th anniversary collection box continues to slowly stonk up. This is that age-old boring reminder, get your staples now. We're entering the WCQ season, and while a lot of other things have been bought out, there's still plenty of quantities of the lower high end in the set secret rares of stuff like Pot of Prosperity, barely above the Super and Ultra. I would probably get that small upgrade or go for a different version, paying just a little bit more to have more of a mid-max feel than bottom tier of it, because Konami will probably cash in on a lot of these with extra commons now that they've been run into the ground over here, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, most of those cards, like Pot of Duality, eventually end up getting a common, right? So I do imagine those lower end copies will probably stay a bit lower depending on what Konami does in the future with these cards, but a lot of these are going to start moving and are moving. Like, if you actually go to best selling, some of it's the highest end by projections of dollars moved, etc. But like Super Ash is right here. There's tons of Ashes recently. M-Perm Secret Rare is up there though. Secret Rare Ash ends up, I think, being around the second page. But do be aware, yeah, Super Talents as well. A lot of these are ending up moving those staples towards the top of this set in terms of actual movement. Different Dimension Ground, the Star Strike Blast card. It's been a while, and this one has been featured multiple times on Market Watch, is a way to banish your opponent's cards for a while. Definitely favored by trap decks here as well. I feel like Different Dimension Ground, it's just such a skill card in terms of how you end up using this term long lingering floodgate in the past, and now people are going to argue about how that is right. But yeah, you got to be going first to set it up properly, all that stuff. I feel like it is still a pretty nice tech option that people have found. You also have the ultra rare from Battles of Legend going, because the dude version quality control wasn't the best there, and there's tons of quantities of that. So you're still gonna easy access a version of this card, but people are taking the nicer ones right now. Dried Winds, this is a friendly reminder that this hasn't had a reprint in ages, and Plant Stuff's getting support, and yeah, Konami reprint this card sometimes. I noticed Volcanic Shell Quarter Century Secret Rare has been slowly going up, but there's only 18 listings at this point, so if you've put off your paying $95 buyouts by this point, you need to be buying this if you want it for your collection sooner than later, in my opinion, because they are going. High-end stuff has trouble repopulating from sets that aren't mass ripped open, and while the sealed for this is starting to finally rebound a bit, 65 a box, like Quarter Century Secret Rares individually are still very hard to pull off because there's 25 different ones. There's only 4 per case. Sorry for my eyes while thinking about proper numbers. I have to remember Starlights versus Quarter Century Secret Rares. Dark Bribe here is going for Battle Pack 2 War of the Giants. Discord picked this one up and said, I noticed this is going up. What's happening? I can't tell you, because I would be going for the OG Super Rare personally. I like 9 of these versus you have the Tag Force Super, and it's just sitting under market price around $10. I don't know why people would be buying this one out like crazy, and it ends up going, I couldn't tell you. I would think that the video game promo would hold a lot more legacy, especially as the original print. I'm SETI is up in price for the Quarter Century Secret Rare, under 10 listings, and do be aware the secret has kind of gone back up, super spiked and chilled out, but is starting to go back towards max. This is a really good engine. I feel like people have underestimated it. Only gets stronger. King Sarcophagus Quarter Century Secret Rare also kind of starting to flex back up a bit. And then I wanted to talk about penny stocks, just like we started with. People ask me all the time to cover these, and they tend to do worse in Market Watch, so I'm going to say the number one place I tend to look for these is reprint sets. But with them, your money sinks in for a long time for if, ands, maybes, or buts. That's why instead of going out and buying them, I like to throw them on top of trades, know exactly what I'm trying to build a pile of, and get them, to finish out trade values on difficult trades. Like, these are dollars, you don't care too much about these, right? Stuff like Toon Page Flip and Toon Bookmark. The moment there's a little crumb of Toon support, people are gonna be after stuff like this. But the question is, will it be reprinted in some speed duel format before that? Will it end up as commons in an OTS pack for some reason? You never really know, and when there is relevancy, Konami likes to cash in. It's about having them in the window where people are going crazy for them, right? And you also have the Evil Twin secret rares in here, which were nice upgrades. Celine, though, reprinted, going way down. It's something I would have considered always having access to, and we ended up getting a nice reprint. So you never really know what's going to end up on the lower end reprinted, but the higher ones tend to get reprinted a lot faster. That's why I like looking through these sets and going, Secret Vayu, that is a nice version of this card. Oh, you have Black Wings, Edison is getting more traction. Stuff like that is what I mainly try to end up looking after and seeing. Here's a staple, 300 copies, ultra rares. Could that be $1 later? These are the things I end up looking for whenever I'm trading. I don't go after buying them when I'm vendor man. And yeah, I feel like a lot of these end up glossed over. This set's got the modern problem, and a lot of sets have this problem, of not being opened up a ton and sitting and rotting on the shelves, and people don't want to rip them open, and a card spiking to $5 or $10 isn't going to cause them to be open. So repopulation of cards is rather difficult for certain versions, and that's why I like looking at sets specifically that are floundering even. Like, they're so thirsty for value, but my calls aren't necessarily going to take off anytime soon either. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed these conversations. Again, not a financial advisor. I don't know your bankroll. I don't know the future of card prices, but generally, I do really like sets like these. And even if they end up flopping, there's so much inside that I personally enjoy.